progress. Welcome. Indeed today. Okay, so today let's start by taking a look at how we think we know, and how we think we know already what we think we know what the problem is, and we think we know what the solution is. Problem is I don't like the way I feel, and the solution is I need to feel better. So now we think we know, and look at what this produces. So look to your own experience, what's happening. And so you see how there's this present experience, and there's an insistence that there's some problem. And then there's some effort trying to fix it, or just trying to protect. But there's some effort being made, and that effort reinforces the sense that there's a divide, something that needs to either be protected or overcome. Depends on the moment, what's happening, how you interpret it, but it's either it needs to be protected or it needs to be overcome. And look at all of the rules that you have. More stuff that you think you know. How it is that things need to be, how that might happen, what needs to be protected, how it needs to be protected, who's the enemy, who's the ally, what's the right direction, what's the wrong direction, what are indications of success and what are indications of failure. So we think we know so much. And you might even say, oh, no, I don't think I know anything. I don't know anything. I can't know anything for sure. It's a big part of my problem is I don't have any certainty. I don't know anything at all. Okay. But now, if you really want to tell the deeper truth, what about this? What about you let go of all of that? Let go of all of it. Everything. Really receive that invitation for just a moment, just one instant, right now, in case that wasn't clear. If you really receive that invitation, then one of two things happens. And they're really flip sides of the same coin. One possibility is that you just immediately find rest. What a relief, peace. The flip side of that is that what you find is all of a sudden, oh, no, here's all the resistance, the struggle, the fear. What do you mean? What do you mean not do this, not believe that, not protect myself? So all the resistance comes up. But what can be a tremendous liberation to discover is how much of a burden all of that is. All of this baggage that you've been carrying around, all the belief, all of the ideas, all of the various strategies, all of the identity, I'm the one, I'm the knowledgeable one, or I'm the ignorant one. I'm the attractive one, or I'm the ugly one. I'm the capable one, or I'm the incapable one. I'm the perpetrator, or I'm the victim. All of these various identities that we carry around. And then they get called into question by our very life if we're willing to have even a shred of honesty, just the tiniest little shred of honesty. Then we have to recognize that it's constantly being challenged. We're being shown, you're not who you think you are. You think you're such a great person, but here, look. Or you think you're such a terrible person, but here, look. You think that you're such an intelligent person, but here, look. Or you think you're such a stupid person, but here, look. It's constantly being shown to us that we're not what we believe. And how do we react? So look, see how you react. How do you react when somebody challenges you, or when some circumstance challenges you? And what you'll see is that there's a tendency to deny it, to reject it, to say, oh, no, that's not me. That's the thing I have to overcome, or that's what I have to protect against. So we're right back where we started. And you see, this is why I often refer to it as a vicious cycle, because it is cyclical, and because it's self-reinforcing, and because it's totally false. And so it requires this ongoing maintenance that's exhausting, completely exhausting, but we're afraid to give it up even for one instant. But right now, can you sense the exhaustion, this thing that you've been running from, that's been running you your whole life? And that, how much longer do you want to keep doing that? So look and see. Sometimes people say to me, oh, you seem so negative. So depressing. Yes, it's very depressing to admit the truth of what the lies that we've been telling ourselves. Absolutely. But also to finally accept that that doesn't have to be, that that it was a lie. Oh my goodness, what a relief. So it takes courage. It takes courage to be willing, just for this one instant, just to turn and face this thing that you've been running from, and just see where is this going? Where is it leading? Just see the lie as it is. See, normally this lie has uh, an urgency to it. It uses scare tactics. It's a terrorist. So that we just keep on running without questioning. It says jump, we say how high. And when you start to recognize that exhaustion, you start to recognize actually the futility of this, then Of course, this is, we all encounter this at some point, some of us younger, some of us older, but at some point, well, maybe not. Maybe some people never, but everybody here, blessedly, has encountered it. So that's all that really matters. So you have encountered this in your life. You've encountered this, there's this recognition of the futility. And then when that gets taken by the mind, it just feeds into the vicious cycle some more. It's like, I thought I was too exhausted, I couldn't do it anymore, but lo and behold, I sure can. Watch me go, watch me run, watch me jump. But this is a blessing. We think that we think it's the worst. We think this is uh, catastrophic, and it is catastrophic for the lie. But the lie is the misery. The lie is the vicious cycle. So it's okay that it's catastrophic because there's nothing there actually. There's not actually anything there. So we don't even have to have what is the word here? I can't think of the word, but there's a kind of like, we don't have to feel sorry for it because it doesn't have an independent existence. There's no entity there. It was imagined like the boogeyman. But what happens is sometimes we start to feel sorry for it. But that's just more of the strategies of the lie to keep it going, to keep it alive, to keep the vicious cycle going. And underneath that again is this fear. That fear is fundamentally, we think it appears in many different ways. So it can appear as a fear of being alone, a fear of failure, a fear of humiliation, a fear of emptiness, a fear of being found out, on and on and on. But actually, if you look closer than that, right now in your direct experience, you'll just recognize it's just sheer, raw terror. And you could say it's like the terror of being of your imminent death, imminent destruction. So we think that terror means I'm going to be destroyed. Why wouldn't we? We've always identified as this. So we would think, oh yes, anytime if there's a fear of destruction, a fear of death, well, it must be my imminent death. Oh no. Well, so what are you going to do? Well, take a look. You know what you do. You keep feeding into the vicious cycle. Keep on running. Keep on imagining. Oh, where is the boogeyman? It's over there, over there. It's everywhere. I'm surrounded by the boogeyman. It's no escape now. What am I going to do? How am I going to escape the inescapable? That's what we want to know. So you glimpse the futility. You know it's futile. You know you will not escape. You know that it's absolutely hopeless. And yet you see what happens. You just keep on hoping. How am I going to escape? 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 How? And we pray, please, God, tell me, help me to escape. Meanwhile, God, as the boogeyman, is whispering, I've got you. Oh, and then what do? You just keep on doing the same thing. You say, oh no, it's got me. uh, Now I'm laughing. I know that's rude. Um, but look, I get it. I understand because I'm in the same boat as you. So I understand. I do. I know that I get all of the challenges. I get how desperate it seems. I get how uh, really hard it can seem. I understand that it seems so bleak and hopeless and miserable and painful and just, you fill in the blank with all the other words that describe it. I get it. I understand. But now look, all of that, you have to understand. Just open to this possibility for a moment. That all of that is just your own projection. Coming back to where we started, which is that you think you know, you already think you know. So if I think I know, you tell me. Okay, now if I imagine this, imagine that I think I know. I think I know. I think I know everything. You might say, oh, I don't think I know everything. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but I've got a bigger head than you. So I think I know everything. Now I might pretend to be humble. And sometimes when I'm in a lot of pain, I might, pray to God and say, I don't know, please tell me the one thing I don't know so that I can know everything and have supreme power. But actually, I think I know everything. And then I am in this position and I'm hurting so much. And now I'm just so angry. So angry. It's unfair. It's not right. It shouldn't be. So now what's happening? Well, I'm at war. I'm at war. I'm at war with what is. And what's the basis of that war? Well, I say, look, it's justified. I'm so justified. The basis is it's totally obvious. I'm being screwed over here. Isn't that true? Don't you feel that way? You're being screwed over. Got it. Raw deal. Okay. So, but look, this only is because I think I know. Now, meanwhile, let's imagine for this one instant some miracle happens. This hardened shell of my knowing for one instant cracks and a ray of light enters. And reveals that I actually don't know. Now I have two options. One is I can work even harder to deny it, reject it, to do some hocus pocus to try and make that go away. There is no light. There is no light. There's nothing outside of what I know. It was just a fluke. It was just my imagination. It was just some momentary psychosis back into the protective shell of supreme knowledge, in air quotes. So that's one possibility, but come on, haven't we done that so many times? And we know what that leads to. So now let's imagine the second possibility. The second possibility is that here's the ray of light, and I can't look at it straight on. It's too much. It's blinding. So just out of the corner of my eye. What is that? Something I don't know. Then, if I really let it, I start to look around and I realize now this light is illuminating everything. So I start to realize, what is all of this? What is all of this? I've never actually seen it before, you see. Never really seen it. Only seen the interior of my shell of what I know, so-called. And what do I know? I just know thoughts. I know labels. I know ideas. I know dead things, corpses. I don't know life. I don't know aliveness. I don't know anything living. No wonder I felt so cut off and so dead and so miserable and so in the dark, because I was. And I'm looking around and I realize, actually, I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's not just some idea that I'm repeating as a mantra, but it's actually the truth that I'm recognizing as I actually look in this moment. You see, can you do that? Can you look? Can you see that you don't know? Can you just look and see with that seeing of freshness, of aliveness, of that you've never actually seen before, that you've never seen any of this before? Well, now when this is allowed, now something's different. Now, of course, I can go back to fixating on the old way, maybe for hours, maybe for weeks, maybe for months, maybe for years. Can happen. But actually, something's different, because now, before there was no choice, you see. Before, how could there be choice? You didn't know that you didn't know. You never stopped long enough. But in this moment right now, stop. And just in this moment right now, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about what this will mean for you, or how it's going to pay the bills, or how it's going to fix your problems, or any of that, or whether it's going to stick around, or whether it's good enough, or just for one instant, stop now. And if you say, I don't know how to stop, just see just see that happening. So you don't need to stop it, just you stop. It can happen. You stop for one instant, so that in this one instant, you can recognize actually that you are this aliveness, just for one instant. Because without this one instant, there's no choice, because you think you are your thoughts, you are your problems, you are this body, you are these sensations, you are the story, you are whatever you think you are, moment to moment, constantly changing. But in this one instant, something truly fresh is revealed right now. You don't have to go looking for it. It's here. So this introduces the possibility of choice, because in this one instant, there's a recognition that's beyond the mind. There's a recognition that everything else is coming and going, but I am here. And at first, maybe the first time, maybe the first 10 times, maybe the first 100 times, maybe the first million times, I don't know. You still have big doubts. You might have really big doubts. You might even instantly dismiss this and say nothing happened. I don't recognize anything. What is this? This is a waste of time. That could happen. It's only because it's habit. You see, it's just a matter of the habit. So there's a habit that's very strong, the habit of this identification. I am this person, I am this story, I am this body, I am these things, I am these problems. Such a strong habit. So that's what we fall back on. That's just the default. So we compare everything to that. So we try to possess everything by that. So this glimpse, this instantaneous glimpse now of what is not mind, what is larger than mind, what is eternal, what is continuous, what is intimate, what is true, what is here, what is you, doesn't have a place in that. Can't be sorted, objectified, fit into that. And so the habit reasserts itself and we say, oh, wait. What was that? That was weird. That was just a fluke, just some weird glitch. It was nothing. Continue on as usual. What was I doing? Oh yes, problem. But you see, you actually have to remember the problem. Haven't you noticed that? You go to sleep, the problem goes away. Doesn't matter how big the problem is. Disappears when you go to sleep. Then you wake up. There's a moment before there's a problem again. You have to remember the problem. Wait, who am I? What do I do? Oh yes, problem. Oh yeah, there we go. Problem. By the end of the day, you're so heavy. Oh, gotta go to sleep. You go to sleep. Relief. Now you might say, well, if that's true, well, it is obviously true. But if you say, if that's true, or given that that's true, well, why am I not enlightened then? Hours every evening, I'm problem free. Why? Because it's unconscious. You have no idea that's happening. You see what I'm saying? 14 hours, 16 hours a day, you're practicing problem identification. Problem, not good enough, big mistakes, gotta hide it, shameful, they're bad, enemies. Depression, pain, anger. And then you wonder, it's because that's what's going on all the time. You're very practiced at it. So one glimpse, you'll dismiss it. How many? I mean, all of you've had glimpses. See, here's the thing is, if you've attended the meetings before, you've had a glimpse, because that's what these meetings are. It's not about the words. It's not about the ideas. There's nothing that I'm going to say that is the magic thing. It's nothing anybody's going to say that's the magic thing. It's the recognition. It's the direct experience. And that's what the meeting is. The rest of it is just, three ring circus. But it's all pointing to something that's cannot be bound, cannot be placed in a ring, can't be objectified, can't be turned into a commodity, can't be entertainment. And it's you. And this is what is, you attend the meeting, this is what happens. There's no way around it. So that's actually what happens. But then you can recognize that you attend the meeting, and then what happens? You go back to the mind and you say, I don't think anything happened. I mean, or if you're regular, so many of you are very regular, so something happens and you're like, oh, I want more of that. I'm so close now. So close. One more meeting, I'll be tipped over the edge, and then I'll be fully enlightened. So, but then what happens? There's a pattern. You're very enthusiastic for a while. You're like, I'm getting somewhere. This is great. I'm having it so close, having good experiences, so close. And then you say, I don't think anything's happening. I don't think it's working. What is all this nonsense anyway? Nothing's changed. I'm still me, still have the problems. Problem. So you see the power of this choice. We can choose either way, but we have to actually use that. We have to choose. We have to make the choice. Because it's not enough. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it for you. I mean, what can happen? Okay, so much can be done for you. Actually, almost everything can be done for you. Almost everything is done for you. 99.9+% of it is done for you by grace, and that's what is happening. That's what's happening. But this choice is that 0.1%, and without this choice, the rest of it can't penetrate that shell. And that choice is the choice to surrender the shell, to let the shell be dissolved. That's the choice. The choice is to receive that light, to receive the truth, to accept the perfection, to accept that grace which is infinite. That so like you can't even compare. It's infinitely larger than this shell. The shell that was this whole, I thought this was the whole universe, and it's big enough, isn't it? I mean, you look at the universe of your thoughts, and it's enormous. It's absolutely enormous. But then you notice, in comparison, the infinity of this light, this truth, this grace that is beyond the shell, that holds everything. And that's what's glimpsed, you see, in this moment, just in this one moment, just for one instant. Don't make an effort. Don't give rise to a thought. Don't fixate on the problem. Don't look to see if it's fixed yet. Don't look to see if it's working. Don't give any attention to the next judgment. Just for an instant. Just one. Now. And then tell the truth that this grace that is here, when not exclusively when, but that's revealed clearly when we cease making the effort to reinforce the shell, it truly is infinite. It's there's no end to it. It's boundless. We can't find an end to it. And no matter how big our shell is, no matter how big our universe in our ideas is, which could be enormous, but no matter how big it is, it's not even a drop in the bucket in comparison. So we have to make that, even though, of course, this what I'm referring to as grace. This is it is the totality. It is everything. It is nothing exists independent of this. Everything, your so-called personal shell or universe or world of thought is comprised of nothing other than this grace. So there's nothing beyond this. There's nothing independent of it. And nonetheless, you have this truly remarkable power in this choice. And it's just that unconsciously we are utilizing this choice every time we say, what am I going to focus on? Oh yeah, problem. I say it's unconscious. We don't know that we're doing that, but you can become conscious of it. You can see that that's what's happening. Now, to become aware of this can seem painful. Very, 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 very painful. I mean, more painful than anything else. You think, oh, that's an exaggeration. Come on. Can't be that painful. No, it's more painful than anything else. It's excruciating. It's more painful than anything. But it's also the most exquisite bliss when finally surrendered. So to finally tell the truth about this means to see that I am working so hard, and I'm asking you, look now to see how this is true. I'm working so hard to say no to that light, to say no to grace. And now what does this look like? What it looks like is that, do you notice how hard you have to work to maintain this, whatever it is, whatever term you use for it, the anger, resentment, depression, anxiety, on and on and on. It takes so much effort. It really does. Take a look and see that it's true. It takes an enormous amount of effort. Constant maintenance. So why do we make that effort? It's because, again, back to, we already said it, but we're so identified with it that to surrender that effort is death. And we think that's our death. And so we're terrified. Just look and see. You're terrified. Terrified because you've got a story about it. Maybe you're conscious of the story, maybe you're not. But the story goes something along the lines of, well, then I'll really fail. Then I'll be proven to be worthless. Then I'll be tortured forever. Then I'll be ridiculed. Then I'll be humiliated. Then I'll die. Then I'll suffer. Then I'll, whatever. I mean, you fill in the blank with your particular twist on the story, but it's something like that. Something awful, something unthinkable, something unbearable. You don't want that. And so you choose unconsciously, I'll just work hard to maintain the protective shell, problem, 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 problem. But tell the truth that there will be no end to that. So long as you keep choosing that, it will just be that problem, 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 misery. And actually, you don't want that. And when you can recognize that the pain of that is actually more than the risk of surrender, And then you start to be open to this possibility of playing with surrender. So now, how about this? Right now, just for an instant, just for one instant, and you say, oh, I don't know how. Just don't latch onto that. Just don't grasp it. Don't believe it. Don't strain in any way. If whatever happens, let it happen. If you sink, sink. If you choke, choke. If you're squeezed, be squeezed. If you're crushed, be crushed. If you're humiliated, be humiliated. Ultimately, what this is cannot be described. It's none of those things, but it can seem like those things for a moment. It's a gateway. If you refuse to allow it, you never pass through the gateway. So just allow it for one instant. Don't make any effort. Don't try to protect yourself. Don't try to get it. Don't try to understand it. Don't try and take notes so that you can repeat it. Don't do any of that. Just for one instant. Be defenseless, innocent, truly innocent. You see, whatever badness you've done, whatever's wrong with you, whatever is shameful about you, whatever is unacceptable, whatever it is, just let it be. Let it be exposed, vulnerable. Don't make the effort for one instant now. And it might surprise you, this is peace. It's not what we thought peace was. So it's to discover now that you are okay. Not your thoughts about yourself, not your story about yourself, but you are okay. Not you will be okay. Not you were okay. We're not even talking about 1 second from now or 1 second ago. We're talking about right now in this instant. It's just okayness. Rest. Rest from all the burden of churning that wheel of suffering just for one instant here. Right in the heart of it, right here where we thought it was meant certain death and destruction, torment. We thought it was unacceptable. We thought we had to fight with everything we had to avoid this, but just surrender to it now. And then you can see this, actually, this instant is eternal. It's endless. You can't hold on to it. You can't get it. But here it is, eternally. What a relief it is. So now I'd like to invite you to join me in this exploration, this experiment of the peace inquiry, to discover not only, as we have already discovered, that the truth of peace is here uh, so many uns, unexpectedly, unconditionally, without pretense, without fitting our expectations, just here reliably. So we discover this, and then the inquiry is, how can this be expressed? How can this be expressed? How can it be lived? How can it be manifest in our bodies, in our minds, in our relationships, in our work, in our homes, and in this world? So just saying that, just presenting that possibility, just even inviting us to open to that possibility, already most likely you can sense some objection, some limitation, somewhere where you say no. So again, just come back to noticing in this one instant, if you just drop it all, if you just are willing to surrender right now, innocently, just for an instant, here is this freedom, peace, no burden, nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to get rid of, nothing's needed. And then we again begin to inquire and have this intention to be curious. Is it possible for this peace that we find here, this unconditional peace, to be expressed in our lives, in our bodies, in our relationships, in our homes, in our families, in our communities, in our schools, in our political organizations? And just notice where the objection, where the resistance is, where there's a no, where that says, no, it couldn't happen there. Because there's an objection of some kind, and you just see what that objection is. You don't have to go seeking for it. You don't have to think a lot about it. Just be very gentle and light with it. It just presents itself. It's just, oh no, couldn't be there. Whatever that is. There's many places we have objections, but just whatever first comes to light, whatever first calls to your attention where you think, oh no, not in my home, not in my body, not in the political system, not in the schools, not in the workplace, not with my spouse, not with my parents, not with the, whoever, whatever. And just pause there and just open to just allowing and seeing all that surfaces, all of the evidence, all of the belief, all of the experience of that, how that presently is manifest in you, to see how actually this is, how this choice is manifesting unconsciously in you at present, where it just takes over and says, nope, not here, got to shut down, got to close off, got to protect, got to defend, got to be right, got to know. And don't judge that, but just see it, that's all. So you might still say, I'm definitely right. There's no way, that's fine. But just see it, that's all. Just be open to seeing, witnessing your own experience, just to see, here are the beliefs, here are the limitations, here is how the choice is made, here's how I shut down, here's how I tense up, here's how I armor, here's how I protect myself, here's the fear underneath it. And just observe it, that's all. You don't have to give anything up. It's totally a choice. You get to do that or not, but make the choice consciously rather than having it made for you unconsciously. And in order to make that choice consciously, you have to see what it is that's happening. So you just watch and see. And then you can start to tell the truth because you're seeing truthfully, you see what's happening, and you can start to look and recognize, is there an absolute basis for this? Is it absolutely true that it's an impossibility that peace could be made manifest here? Is it absolutely true? Do I really know that? Just look and see. It might, maybe you say, yes, it is absolutely true. Okay, you get to do that. It's okay. Nobody's forcing you to do anything here. It's safe for you to inquire. That's all. It's just safe for you to look and look truthfully for yourself. You might find, as I do, that actually there is no absolute basis for that, that actually there is a possibility of peace being made manifest here. It's maybe just beyond my current beliefs, my current ideas, my current conditioning. But here, as I'm seeing all of the beliefs and the conditioning, I'm free to choose. For the first time, I can see, how does all this come about? Here is this contraction, this tension, this armoring. Underneath that is this fear, this vulnerability, this identity that I'm terrified of giving up. And I can just see that, just allow that. And then notice, is it really worth the pain, the strain, the effort to maintain this? Or might it be more enjoyable just to surrender? And if that seems safe to explore with curiosity, that possibility of surrender, then we can just choose for one moment to surrender. Maybe in this one moment, we don't actually need to defend ourselves. Maybe there's nobody actually attacking us in this one moment. Maybe it's okay for one moment just to explore the possibility of not doing that. And just to see what's different here when this space is illumined by that light of openness, curiosity. What's this like? Is it more pleasant? Is it a relief? Is it open? Is it restful? That's what I find. Then again, I can ask the question, is it actually true that peace couldn't manifest here, couldn't express in this way, in this place, in this time, with these people, in this circumstance? Is it actually true? And what I find when I inquire in this way is that from here, from this surrender, from this openness, from this innocence and curiosity, this real possibility opens up that, gosh, I don't see why not. I don't necessarily know how that will look or how it will happen, but I don't know why it couldn't be. So now there's this possibility that's opened up. There's a light shining, and it's not just shining in my personal experience, but it's shining through me into this world. Because this world is made of our contributions. That's what it is. And if nobody contributes the openness to the possibility of peace, well then, of course, peace won't be manifest there. But if one person does, then all of a sudden it's a real possibility. And that invites others without it having to be preachy, but just energetically, because it shines the light, because there's a possibility, there's an openness, it invites others to start to recognize that possibility. So in this way, collectively, as we explore and inquire into the possibility of peace manifest in our lives and in our families, our homes, our communities, and in our world, then we contribute something very substantial to the real manifestation of peace in this world. So thank you for joining me today, as always. Thank you for your willingness to be curious and innocent and sincere and honest. And for those of you who are here live, we'll stay on for the Q&A. So thank you.